I'm in Oakland's Preservation Park, which of course is a perfect setting to discuss how my miniature adventures in 1/72nd scale have been going lately. So without further ado, as I sit in this park, let us discuss this and explore what I've been doing in 1/72nd scale.
Paint that bench. Paint that bench. Get them two thin coats on it. Yeah, get them highlights on after the base coat. Yeah, it's secrets of the painting bench.
You want me to?
Have I started filming? Oh, I have.
You have.
Okay.
You have the deer in it as well. Do you want the deer to be in?
No, but the deer won't walk in the shot. Oh, there it is. Look.
Deer will walk in
Okay.
the shot.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Secrets of the Painting Bench Part 2. We are surrounded by deer. This deer is trying to eat the red leader. So tell me, how do you feel about being on this prestigious miniature painting show?
Yeah, I don't want to be here.
Okay, but unfortunately he's here right now. He's getting eaten by deer. They've attacked him several times because of his size. They know that he provides more sustenance if they kill him, but they haven't managed to take him down. Why is that?
I practice self-defense against deer. The deer self-defense arts.
What is your favorite anti-deer defense move? And is it sexual in nature?
No. You use a water bottle and you whack the deer.
This one?
Yeah.
This one, this prop?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, alright. Oh, that's fair, that's fair.
You whack the deer.
Away, you foul spirit. Okay, well that's good, that's good. This is clearly all really relevant to miniature painting stuff. So that's good. This is good material. I'm glad we're filming quality content.
That deer's making noises.
Yeah, if you don't... Actually, you're right. If you didn't see it, you think it was like a child or something. Yeah. Okay, that's weird. Alright, okay, that's cool. Anyway, back to miniature painting.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 2 of Secrets of the Painting Bench, my irregular series on all things of the painting and benching variety. So this series is essentially a watchable podcast. I try to do most of it without a script. I improv the details while having the broad outline of my subject matter in front of me. I want this series to be the most flexible and the roughest cut of just whatever I want to talk about. So my topics today will be my latest videos, traveling to Japan, and the model projects I'm working on. So in regards to the latest videos I made the first thing I made was an unboxing of some ancients and medieval minis I bought. And I made a battle report. Then I made a review on Blackwatch miniatures / Hagen miniatures, Korean heavy infantry. Then a walkthrough on Jinju Sung. And finally, this thing. Okay, so what I want to kind of... My thoughts around my recent video stuff is that it's a lot of content for what I usually make my content in around approximately 3-month installments. So 3 months will pass, there'll be nothing, and then I'll kind of like try to do a content drop of like a bunch of stuff. And I've said this before, but I think I said this before in the first episode, but the reason I do it like this is because it gives me time to just recharge, do other things other than like miniature making or like video making around the miniatures, because this is all like it's not always time intensive, but sometimes it is, and it depending on what kind of content I want to make, this can just use up a lot of time, creative energy, and so I want time away from feeling the obligation to always make things. So I don't want to have to like drop a video every week, and therefore the quality will suffer. I like at the moment I'm not being paid for this. I mean, likely I never will be. And so that kind of gives me the freedom to just make whatever I want. I mean, it's not like entirely selfish. Like I do want to make content that an audience would appreciate, because like I make it for myself, but I also make it primarily to educate and have fun, I guess, with the community. Like for example, just so I might as well I can cover the reasons for each video case by case, but basically, yeah, this was a large content drop of 5 videos, and I'm gonna, after this one, there won't be videos for like another 3 months or whatever. But basically, so the reason for this was because in real life, quite a lot of things were happening. Like for example, I got an offer for a war game with an old friend. The Don for the war game. And so I was like, well, like we've been talking for so many years, like I have to do it at some point. Like when am I going to do it? And so it just so happened to coincide with a holiday. And so that was a battle report. So I filmed that when I was playing the game. And like that's like a video where I felt like I had the obligation um to make, because I filmed it. The content's sitting there. Um, I'm having the holiday. I'm not making anything when I'm on the holiday. But I get back after, I feel like, oh, I should start making it, right? Because like, um, like other guys are playing the game. Surely they want to see it. I don't want to leave it for too long. And that applies for the unboxing video too, because um, buying the miniatures from Bert AU, he was very nice. We communicated about our history of miniature making in 1/72nd, but also other scales. Um, and I was like, oh well, I'm happy to make an unboxing video because, like, basically because my first video of going through um, my old ancient history teachers collection was decently received. So I was like, well, it's not really my kind of video. Like it's not something I would personally watch, to be honest, or like I don't think it's like that. Like it's not my favorite thing to make either, because it's like, where's the creativity in unboxing things? Like I don't get it myself. Like I know people watch it. I know it's a popular genre, but I don't watch it. But people like it, and so I figure like, well, like I mean, I don't mind making it. It's not my favorite thing to make, but I don't mind making it. I could put a fun spin on it, and so that's where the whole idea for the Bradford ventilation thing came about, because I was like, what kind of plot or what kind of story? It's like, like pornos with plots. Like you need a plot. I don't know. Like for me, like you need a plot. You need dressing to make it fun, because like for me, the ethos for all my videos is it has to be fun. Like it has to be entertaining. Like I don't want it to be dry. Like even if I'm doing like a painting guide or something, like I want there to be humor or something interesting to grab audiences, but also to grab me while I'm making it. Because if it's just like, and then you base coat, then you highlight, and then it's like, well, that's just so dry. Like I need something to, intersect the dryness. Because I think like a lot of people can make technically good videos, but I don't find just technical details entertaining. So I make the stuff that I'd want to make. I make the stuff that I want to make, and also the stuff I'd want to watch. And so my own kind of humor usually finds its way inside my work. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's just the reasoning for the stuff I make. So yeah, the unboxing thing, I was like, I'm happy to make an unboxing video. So he was looking forward to it. So I was like, I don't want to let him down. I said I'd do it. I don't want to break my word. So after the holiday was over, I started making the unboxing video, and it's like it's less work because in some respects for the unboxing video in particular, because I don't have to do as much of a voiceover, but there's a lot of footage to splice together to edit out weird bits, maybe just some slight editing, and also the introduction and like writing the script and stuff. So yeah, that always takes some time. But the unboxing video, people like that stuff. I don't know. It's not something I watch. I don't watch them. I don't watch unboxing videos in my spare time. Uh, like if like sometimes if I'm curious about a product I want to buy, I'll YouTube like a review for the thing, but I don't care about the thing being opened and stuff. Like I don't know. Yeah, like especially like large collections of things. It's like I don't know. It's just doesn't appeal to me personally, but people like it, so I don't know. But yeah, so I felt like an obligation to make the video and finish it, and yeah, we've exchanged some emails. Like I'm happy to help out. I like promoting 1/72nd people. Like that's my scale. Like so I'm glad to do it, but so it's like that's an almost like a thing I felt like I had to do. So it's like that's the first thing I wanted to do. But then also so I should talk about the video sequentially. Then there was the battle report, and yeah, so we fought the battle report. I haven't played a war game actually for quite a while. maybe about a year or something. And so it was good to actually just play something, but also like it was like a good idea to film it and make something out of it. And like I was traveling, so I couldn't film it in a way that I'd really like to. Like if I had an ideal setup, I'd have like multiple cameras, maybe a camera on a stand, so you have a non-shaky cam, and like which is just chronicling everything that's happening. And I never miss anything, and so like I can interlace content of that with my own like shaky cam footage, and so like you get a bit of both. But I didn't have a setup. I was traveling, so it turned out the way it was. And I know it was a bit long. So specifically about that video, it's like my longest video by far. But like I just didn't want to cut the social commentary, the banter, the advice, and the talking, because I feel like that's the social experience is what makes a war game. It's what separates it from like a video game. Now I know you communicate online in video games too, but the difference for a war game, to me, is that you're in person playing and everyone's there, and so there's a different element for an in-person experience, and I kind of wanted to convey that. I didn't want to cut it. To me, that's kind of defeats the purpose. And so, long as it was, I decided that like I had to just keep it. I think just to get the essence of it. But it was very fun. I don't think I've ever played the Late Bronze Age as a period before, but good to try that. Also good to try Hail Caesar. Never tried that rule set either. Um, Having someone know the rules is very helpful, I think. That was good. I've never traveled for Wargame before. I probably will in the future. I've got plans, but plans which I don't want to talk about yet because until they're real, I don't want to like lead people on. But it was good. It was good to meet people I've only talked to via email and on forums and stuff, and so that was a good experience. Good to make a video out of it. The animation took a while, but that's just part of it. And yeah. Okay. So the Korean heavy infantry review. That's a video I've wanted to make for a while. So the reason I made that is because I said in my first episode of Secrets of the Painting Bench that I wanted to make a Jinju Sung walkthrough. And the reason I did the Korean heavy infantry review instead first was I was like, I need to make Imjin War content. Like I made a series trailer and everything. I've got like a playlist for it. Like it's a series I actually want to cover. But then like I had the obligation of like the unboxing video and the battle report, you know, like those things were waiting. So I made those first. But I was like, I really actually do want to get back to the Imjin War series, and so but I wanted to make war game content, like a walkthrough of Fortress. While fun, like I really enjoyed it, and it is directly related to Joseon Dynasty military history. It's not miniature related directly, and so I was like, okay, I have to make something which is specifically related to miniatures, and I can throw in some lesser known history about the Joseon army in it that can be interesting and helpful to a lot of Joseon wargamers. And yeah, so that was the reasoning for the next one. And so I had the miniatures all painted and recorded a while ago, but I didn't get around to making it until now just because of sheer amount of content. I have a huge backlog of things I have to make, but I'm glad I got around to this. I've always been meaning to. And the video before this one, before the secrets, I'm not going to talk about this video. Like this video will speak for itself, but the video I made just before this, the Jinju Sung walkthrough. I thought it was Jinju Seong for the longest time. It's because like no one told me how to pronounce it until like I started looking into it, and all the Korean people were like Jinju Sung. I'm like, oh, I've been saying it wrong the whole time. Okay, so even though it's spelled Seong, it's not Seong, it's Sung. But yeah, so I don't know. When I was in Korea last year, Jinju Fortress was actually one of the reasons I wanted to go to Korea. And so, because of the museum, which specializes in Imjin War, which is the period which I'm focusing on. And so when I arrived, I wasn't going to make a video initially, but I was like, oh, why don't I just film a walkthrough? Like, I'm already here. And so that was the inspiration for that. It was raining the whole time. I was just soaked. I was like running from cover to cover. You could see the rain in the video, but like sometimes it was lighter, sometimes it was heavier. When it was heavy, like there was a moment like when I was in the battlements when I was just like ducking under and the rain was pouring down. I was just waiting for it to finish. I was like, well, I'm here now, and a mosquito was just buzzing around. and I was just eyeing it and like swatting it away for like 15 minutes while I was waiting for the rain to finish. Yeah. Didn't get to see the museum. It was part of the reason for going to Korea. So when I go back to Korea at some point, I fully intend to like not go on Monday and actually see the museum. That is the plan. Will I make a video about it? I have no idea. I don't think so. I've already done this. Probably no repeats, but you never know, you know. Okay, so that's the latest videos I've made. And that's the reason for making like 5 videos this round is because I felt I had the obligation to make the stuff that was happening in real life. It was affecting my real life, but also I also wanted to keep going with the Imjin War series because I think like my last content drop, I didn't really touch the Imjin War, and I was like, I didn't want people to think I've abandoned it. I definitely haven't. It's just I'm waiting for the right time to make certain things, and part of the reason is, for example, let's talk about future videos I'm gonna make. So one video, which is very high on my list, is the Joseon Dynasty military painting and modeling guide in 1/72nd scale. And I've got a lot of the content filmed, but I have to refilm it. And I've also been waiting to make it, and this is the reason why, because like I use like film stills and photos from media that depicts the subject matter which I'm working on. And the last film in the Yusun Shin trilogy, called Noyang, The Sea of Death, is being released in December 2023, which is this month. And so I really want to use the stills from that because this series is directly related to one of the most important subject matters of the thing I'm covering, like the Joseon military. Yi Sun Shin was and still is a national hero. And they try to put a lot of work into the budget for the costumes and stuff. Okay, sometimes it's not historically accurate, but you know they try to make it look cool at least, you know. So I like to use the content, and so I was like, okay, I gotta wait for the movie Noyang to come out before I make it, and so that was initially the reason for delaying it. But now I've realized another reason to delay it is some of my models are not historically accurate. So the black and white Poljobok troops, that's not accurate. That's late Joseon, and they depict late Joseon policemen. So just not right. The hat, the Geon lip, that didn't really come in. The prototype was introduced during the Imjin War, but it was very rare until late Joseon. The Jeonbok, like that vest they wear, was not introduced until after Imjin War. So yeah, like it's just the troops aren't right, and that annoys me because when I first started the army, I didn't have the guidance. I didn't have anyone telling me I was doing the wrong stuff. And the part of the problem is, and you see this in samurai stuff too. Like there's this language barrier where the translated works just are outdated or like not very good. And so like, you know, like if you're Korean or Japanese, for example, you're like there are archaeologists and historians like actively working on this stuff and giving you like up to date interpretations of things. Whereas like the English speakers and listeners might not get it for years. And so you just kind of set with this outdated information. And I know that samurai stuff is guilty of that too. And so, but the Korean military of the Joseon Dynasty just isn't as culturally popular in the West as samurai. Like samurai hog all the attention, you know. Like no one, like who know? Okay, out of the general population of people who are vaguely interested in like wargaming and military history in the West, how many people are interested in samurai, right? And then compare the numbers of that to people who are interested in Ming China or Joseon Korea. You know, the proportion is ridiculous. You have a lot more people who care about samurai stuff. And that's fine. Like I'm not shitting anyone who like, you know, I don't want yucky yum. I like samurai stuff too, to be frank. But the more I looked into like Ming China and Joseon Korea, the more I realized I really liked that stuff. Like I like the period, I like the armors, but also I like things which seem more underrepresented, and it's like it was just all so new to me, and that's what I really liked about it. So I kind of want to focus on Joseon Korea. And so to make the next video, to make the video I really want to make, the Joseon Dynasty Painting and Modeling Guide, where I will talk about the history. And this is information which is very hard to find in the West. Very hard. I've talked to Korean people. I've read Korean sources. Korean consultation, like the discussions, the conversations were so helpful to gain an understanding. I literally saved the project. Like I just couldn't do it just by Google Translate. People have corrected a lot of my misinterpretations. I'm very, very thankful. Very thankful to the people who I've been talking to. But yeah, so the video I want to make, that video with all the juicy, far more relevant and accurate information to warm gamers, I can't make that until Noryang the Sea of Death comes out on streaming, and until I've corrected the models which I've made, because I can't. It irks me that my models are historically inaccurate. Now, sometimes it's like case by case, right? Like sometimes I think it's okay to err a bit on historical accuracy, but when some things can't pass, and to me, like, for example, like it's context based and it's reasoning. Like, for example, like the Erline Gap, the fish scale armor worn by many prominent Korean commanders, as depicted in Korean media. That's not historically accurate. That doesn't appear until post Imjin War. But I wanted an example of that in my army because it's so beautiful. It's so iconic. Even though it's not historically accurate, it gives me a centerpiece model for my general. And the issue is, if I don't have that, the general will be wearing Brigandine, which looks like the same as every other person's Brigandine, or wearing Lamela, which is, I mean, a bit more different, I suppose, just by virtue of not many models being represented Lamela in 1/72 Joseon, but I'd have to custom model it, and then it's still not like ridiculously fancy or plated mail, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, it's just chainmail with plates on it. Whereas like the Erline Gap is iconic, right? It doesn't look like anything. Like all the scales are different colors. It just looks beautiful, and it's like okay, it's not historically accurate, but it just gives the model punch. And it, like, if I put the Korean commander side by side with Samurai commander and the Ming commander, it feels like they each represent a unique aspect of their culture. And so it's like, even though technically it's not historically accurate, it's so evocative and thematically on point that I want to have it. Whereas like the black and white waiters uniforms, the Paul Jobok, or the garrison troops, as Perry Miniatures calls them, that's just well, I mean, it is iconic because K-dramas made it so, but it's it's not flattering. It's not a flattering depiction. They look like waiters or penguins. And I want to represent each army. I want to represent the strengths of the armies and the unique selling points of it. Because otherwise, why make the army? I don't make armies I hate. What's the point of that? You know, it's not flattering. It's not historically accurate. It's not iconic in a cool way. And so in that sense, and it's like it's spread along many troops. Like I've got many examples of it. Whereas like the Erline Gap fish scale is just one person. So it's like, if it's widespread, problematic, and not cool, and I know it's not historically accurate, I might as well just get rid of it. So that's going to take a lot of work to model away. I think I'm rambling on this. Like, I think I've spoken a long. I think this episode's going to go for a lot longer than my usual ones. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I want to make that. That's the video I want to make soon. I'm also doing some work with a friend, writing a script for a soap opera drama related to wargaming. It's very alternative, but it's something I want to try just because, like, I want to make things that I find entertaining. Otherwise, like, what's the point? I'm not getting paid for this. I want to enjoy it. I want you to enjoy it, but I have to enjoy it too. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it, you know? So yeah, so maybe that'll be fun. I really like the script. And then, so those two are the most immediate things I'm thinking about. I plan to review the Yi Sun Shin trilogy in the context of wargaming. And there's a bunch of other videos I can make and still want to make, but they're the things I'm thinking about the most right now. So those are latest videos and videos I intend to make in the future. Okay, so now I want to talk about my trip to Japan. Yeah, so sometimes I take holidays. I went with a friend to Japan, and I'm gonna just put the coverage, like the footage, which I find amusing here. So here's just some general stuff that happened.
Where does this lead?
I don't know. Do I just start stroking?
Just start.
Take off my pants? Like, good. That's a good idea. Good question. I have no. Yes. 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 Good. Yeah.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
No. Stay back. Stay back.
Oh, you're getting surrounded.
Yeah.
Stay on the trunk.
Stay back. I've got the biscuit. they want the cock and. Dear King, here, eat him, and spare me. Ali, is it eating your cock? It looks like you're being stalked by the deer.
Nod.
Huh? Bite him again.
But,
Not kill.
I'll stick my finger in there. I'll do it. I'll do it.
You do it. He will do it. He's huge. You have failed me for the last time.
No, come on. Do real. You fence. Do fencing.
Well, fencing's kind of different. Fencing's like this.
Okay, yeah. We'll do that.
Okay, so the reason I went to Japan, like I want to go to, so I'm covering the Imjin War, that's my focus right now. And I want to go to all the countries that are represented in the Imjin War. So I went to Korea, I went to Japan, I want to go to China. China is the trickiest because China, you know what, let's not get political, but let's just say that like their visa system is tricky. To get approved and time intensive and more expensive, and also, yeah, it's a bit more politically unstable there. But I still want to go. I want to see what they call a Hanfu event. So sometimes they have they host events where people dress in traditional Chinese dress, and some people wear armors, and that's the kind of event I want to see. And obviously, I want to see museums and things. So I would like to see China. I don't know when that can happen. But anyway, I'm talking about Japan. But basically, so that's my reasoning for going to these countries. And so, yeah, I went to Japan to... Yeah, so I went to Japan to study samurai history, Sengoku period history. I went to a lot of libraries, museums. Obviously, ate a lot of food. It's not really related to wargaming, but yeah, it was a good time. I like Japan. It's fun. I have to admit, I now prefer Korea. When I first went to Korea, I thought of Korea as similar to Japan, but not as great. And now the inverse is true. I think of Korea as my preferred version of like an ultra modern Asian country. And the reasoning for that, I mean, these things are all subjective and personal, but I like Korea because like, A, it's not as touristy. So many people go to Japan. Everyone loves Japan. And that's my thing about Japan is like there's this like tendency for some people to like hold Japan up as like this ideal state of being. And that's okay. Like I mean, I'm not gonna shit on anyone's belief. Like if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. But like they're human. you know? Like their society, like, you know, some people like their society, that's fine, but like they're mortal too. They make mistakes. They're not perfect. You know, they've got huge issues in their society, just like every other society. So I don't want to shit specifically on them. Like, you know, like obviously every country has issues. Like every single country. But I don't want to be the guy who idealizes Japan, saying it's perfect and we all have to, you know, like worship it. Like I'm uncomfortable with that kind of thing. Like I think that I don't like extremist beliefs in any kind of category. Like Japan is a good fun place. I like it. It's got good food. It's got a rich culture, but I'm not going to idealize it and say it's perfect or whatever. And I don't like, for example, when it's parallel to wargaming, because like in wargaming, Asian, like early modern Asian stuff, it's always Japan. You know, Sengoku era samurai. If it's like ancient Asia, might be Three Kingdoms China or something, but like, yeah, like the closer we get to modernity, it's just people, it's samurai. In the West, it's samurai. It's like I like the armor designs of samurai. Yeah, I do. But to me, it shouldn't be just one thing. It should be. We should have broader representation because there's many cool early modern Asian armies like the Ming Chinese and the Joseon Koreans. And so part of my travel to Japan is because I did want to study it. I think it's important to actually go behind the idealization and the myths to actually find what like Sengoku Japan was all about. I wanted to get a vibe of it, and by traveling, I hope that helps a bit. But I didn't want to idealize anything. So yeah, basically I traveled so because I intend to go to all the countries that participated in the Imjin War. Yeah, so that's my Japan trip. And when we were there, we got interviewed by Tina's Catchrock TV. And so obviously we are celebrities now. So go us.
How long have you been in Japan? Are you traveling?
Hold on. Yeah. But 10 days? 10 days now. Yeah, 10 days. 10 days. Yeah.
You're so tall.
Yeah, he's my bodyguard. Basically. You know, people look at him, they run the other way.
So how did you like the festival?
Oh, it's really good. I mean, there's a lot of food stalls and things, right? And even though there aren't flowers, it's still very natural, and it's the scenery is beautiful. So I think it's still worth visiting. Fun.
Have you tried any food here?
No.
You were staring at the fish, though. You're like, you wanted to.
Like which one on the stick?
Yeah.
Ayu. It's called ayu.
Oh, right. Did you try one?
Yeah, I actually was just that. Yeah,
Oh,
we
it's
just
good?
had it. Yeah,
Okay.
it was pretty good. Yeah. So guys, in general, how do you enjoy Japan? How has it been so far?
I'll let you answer this one.
Pretty great. Yeah. Like it's the most unexpected thing that's great about Tokyo so far, just Tokyo, is that the water doesn't taste like poison like it does in the surrounding cities.
I'll give a normal answer. It's fun. It's fun. It seems like there's a lot of people that like Japan. Love Japan. I like Japan. It's cool. I go all places. It's fun. You know, I know I'm dressed like this. I normally don't look like this. It was a festival, but yeah, it's cool. It's very clean and safe, and the food is excellent.
It's really kind of hot. I'm only wearing this because of water, and it's like the coolest
Oh yeah,
thing we
that's
have.
the reason you're wearing it. It's not like you wear it.
Do you have any favorite food?
Yeah, gyudon.
You don't. Oh, I love that one too. Yeah.
My favorite food is ice cream.
So the last topic area I want to cover is the models I'm making. So I've been painting Sengoku era Japanese. The first unit I made was Samurai back in 2016, no, 17, 18, something like that, 2019, maybe 2019. Yeah, it was a while back, but like it was the second unit I've ever made after my first unit of Celts, and that's because like I made the unit of Celts to get me back into miniature painting because I took a very long break from Warhammer, and I made it a samurai. And once I got that fix out of the way, I was like, okay, all right, I've made samurai. Now I can finish my Celtic army, and I did. But now it's time to finish my samurai army, and the reason is essentially there's going to be a huge multiplayer game in China in 2025. I'm not going to talk about it because if it doesn't happen, I don't want to ruin anything. But the hope is to bring my army overseas and play a game there. Now, the problem with finishing my army right now is I don't have all the models. I mean, I have enough models to finish it, but they're not the models I want because I really want to represent the Sengoku Japanese in my own vision. You know, when I make a miniature army project, I have a vision and I really do want to execute certain things. Obviously, every army is different. Like, for example, with the Celts, I really wanted to make Boudica, and I wanted like a dynamic chariot, you know, which is why I ended up having a rearing chariot. Also, I wanted Vercingetorix, basically. And so, yeah, I some things are fundamental to me for certain armies. So for the samurai, for example, the focus for me and what draws me is the artisan qualities of their armors, the otherworldly decorations of beasts and furs and masks, and the intense color hues of the rope braidings on their armor and such. I mean, it makes the armor very unique. I mean, you know, the samurai armor is iconic and instantly recognizable. They're known for their armor. Samurai only make up depending on how you like, they make up the Bushi class, and technically Ashigaru are low level samurai, but you know, like samurai armor, the one that people think about, it's iconic and beautiful, and so I want to represent that in its glory. And so I want to have more sculpts, some sculpts which are 3D printed, some sculpts which are made by very obscure alternative companies, some sculpts which I'm designing myself personally. And so to get all these models is going to take time and money. So I don't have everything I want yet. But so I can't. So that's the problem with finishing certain units. Like for example, like I've got an Ashigaru unit, which I'm almost finished. I've got 7 models done, and the last guy, the samurai leader, he's not finished because the sculpt itself is not finished. Like it's a 3D sculpt that hasn't been done. So it's like I could use another sculpt, but I want to use the sculpt that I envisioned. And so until I get, to me, if I can't do it the way I want to do it, maybe it's not worth doing. Some things, obviously, compromise is important in all things in life, but some things are things I really want, and if it's reasonable, why not go for it? So I will get the sculpts I want in time, so I can show the vision of the army that I really want to make, the beautiful armors and everything, which I can cover in greater detail. But basically, yeah, at the moment, I was working on samurai, but I've started making models for the Iko Iki, which in popular depiction are also completely wrong. Like the image of the monks and the image of peasants not having weapons, that's all wrong, apparently. Iko Iki armies are meant to look like, honestly, like other Sengoku period armies. Maybe slightly less armored. On that, and monks should look like just like samurai, frankly. So they wouldn't stand out. But then the question is, do I want to depict them like just like any other army? Like, what's the point of making an Iko Iki army? So I'm thinking about that right now. But yeah, so I'm currently painting samurai, Sengoku era Japanese models, for the game in 2025. So that's taking a lot of work, but that's my focus right now. And I guess I really can't budge from this focus except to fix historical inaccuracies for my Joseon Korean army in order to make the video. So that's kind of the plan for model making. Okay, I feel like I've been talking for a while. So that's the 3 areas I really wanted to cover this time on this episode. My voice is getting parched. Yeah, so the videos I've been making, the unusually large content drop, my trip to Japan, and the models I'm working on now. And these are like all broadly war games related. And so I think this is a good summation of what's happening right now, if you're interested at all. So yeah, all right, well, thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, we were showing you.
Oh, okay, we gotta. No, we're not filming them.
We are
We're not filming the kids. That's kind of weird and.
kids.
Like, yeah,
no,
no.
the deer.
Oh right, we have the deer in the shot. Okay. So anyway, this is a closing shot of Secrets of the Painting Bench, Part 2, with Red Leader, who was really relevant to this episode, miniature painting, because he's a great miniature enthusiast, and we have deer in the background for no reason, because they're relevant to miniature painting too. Anyway, how was the day today? You have a good day?
I learned a lot from the deer about miniature painting. He doesn't know anything about miniature painting. That's about it.
Makes sense. Right, okay. I'm insulted on my own show. That's a great way to end it. All right. Thank you everyone. Thank you for watching. See you next time for the next episode of the Painting Channel. So there you have it. That was a bit of a gander on my 1/72nd scale adventures in Preservation Park. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed this luxurious view of this not crime-ridden city. And I'll see you next time.